Hey everybody, Pastor Stephen Anderson here from Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona. And I just wanted to make this quick video to show you some of the features of our church website. I know a lot of people watch the YouTube channel for our church all the time, but they don't necessarily go to the church website. So let me just show you a few of the features here on the church website that might help you out. First of all, the preaching tab right here has the list of all the sermons. So if you're kind of buried on the YouTube channel because there are just so many short clips being added or music or other things that you may or may not be interested in, then basically just going to the sermon tab on faithfulwordbaptist.org just allows you to get straight to the sermons that you want to see, because all you have to do is just hit this YouTube button right here and it'll take you to the latest sermons on the Bible college scam, Luke chapter 16, 144,000, Old Testament salvation. But not only that, there's this little search bar right here that's really helpful. So let's say you want to find a sermon against Calvinism. You know, as long as it has it in the title, then you'll find it. Like we got the 5 points of Calvinism refuted, the lies of Calvinism, Calvinism creeping in. Or let's say you just want to listen to a sermon on hell. If you just type in the word hell, you'll find a ton of sermons on hell. If you want to find, sermons about salvation. And obviously this isn't going to show you everything because it has to actually have that in the title, but it still can help you find sermons quite a bit. And you've got an MP3 to download if you don't have enough data for the full-blown video, or if you just prefer audio. So the sermon page is pretty helpful for that. Another page that's pretty important is this one over here that says text. So if you go over to the text page, the first thing it lists is all the main films. And by major films, I mean the ones that were produced by Paul Wittenberger, so they're actually of a professional quality. And you can see they're all listed here. And when you click on these, basically it brings you to a transcript, a textual transcript of it, but it's also a link to the YouTube video itself. So it helps you find the videos or to get the text if you need the transcript for whatever reason. So here's all the Paul Wittenberger stuff, and then it says minor films by Pastor Anderson. These are kind of the more ghetto films that I put out from time to time, and they're all listed here. So they're kind of all in one place, easy to find. AIDS, the Judgment of God, Truth About Birth Control, Failure to Obey, Marxist Lucifer King, etc. Also, some of these videos get removed from YouTube from time to time. The great thing about this page is that here you'll always find the most updated version. So whenever of these becomes a dead link, I swap it out with the most current link. So like if you're having trouble finding any of them because they keep getting removed, this is a copy that you can actually watch. So that helps you find it. And then I just included a new section called Films by Other Preachers, because some of our other preacher friends are starting to put out their own documentaries now. And so I'm hoping that this section will fill up pretty fast. I know Brother Jimenez is working on a documentary on psychopath reprobates. Brother Romero's working on one about people with multiple personality disorder. And then right here, Brother Bruce Mejia at FWBC LA, he did a really good job on this Day of the Dead documentary on the wicked holiday known as Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos. And it was so cool because he put together this video, and then literally like a week later, this Disney movie came out that's all about Day of the Dead, and he didn't even know about that. I didn't even know about that. So it was just like perfect timing to rebuke Day of the Dead just in time for this Disney movie Coco, which is all about, promoting that wicked holiday. Then under that are just full transcriptions of sermons. So there's just tons, hundreds of sermons that are just fully transcribed, and they're actually transcribed by a human being, not by a machine. So these are all human transcribed sermons, and then also linked to a ton of blog posts that I've written over the years, various articles that I've written, and then text of the moments, transcriptions of the post-trib moments, Israel moments, etc. And then you get down here, and it's just all these different languages, 115 languages. But this is helpful because you can find all the stuff in that language pretty easily. Like, for example, take a language like French. I mean, there's a ton of material here, and it's all in one place. You can get to it all. Some of it's subtitled, some of it's fully dubbed. But you can find what you need in these various languages. And then all the way down at the bottom of this page, you've got the SRT files for subtitles. And so if you're into subtitling, or if you want to translate subtitles, you can get the English SRT files here and convert them, or these foreign language SRT files for those that know about subtitles. Okay, so that's the text page. So those are probably the two most important pages, the preaching page and the text page. But also the events page. You know, this is somewhere that you're going to want to check to keep abreast of events that are coming up. I'm a little behind on updating it, as you can see, because the top 3 events there have already happened. But we've got San Carlos Apache Soul Winning Trip coming up on the 11th, Spanish Night on the 14th, Navajo Nation Trip on the 15th and 16th, Christmas Caroling, Preaching in LA, Jamaica Missions Trip, Soul Winning Mega Marathon. I'm going to be adding a whole bunch more events as well in the next couple days, but just check this from time to time and see what's going on. And I know a lot of people use this if they're thinking about visiting Tempe to go to Faithful Word Baptist Church. They'll check this out and say, oh, well, you know, if I coincide my trip with one of these Indian trips, then I'm going to have a better visit. So thankfully, we're taking the Indian trips virtually every week anyway, but if you look at this and you want to participate in these events, then you can plan accordingly. So the events page is pretty important. And then, you know, the rest of these are pretty self-explanatory. I mainly just wanted to highlight those few important pages. But one other thing that I would like to highlight, though, is where it says church directory right here. So this kind of explains to you how to find the best church in your area. To go to this independent Baptist church locator called Military Get Saved, and then it gives you some instructions to kind of weed through all the churches there and try to find the best one. But then it also lists some churches that are very like-minded with ours. So these are the instructions in general, but here are a few outstanding churches, and it lists churches that are very like-minded with us, meaning that they not only are into soul winning and the King James Bible and hard preaching, but they're also with us on post-trib, pre-wrath rapture, and they understand about the Jews, and they're against the Sodomites and stuff like that. You know, stuff that people really like about our church and is kind of lacking in a lot of other independent Baptist churches. So these are the really outstanding churches that we would highly recommend, and we're going to be constantly adding churches to this list. But up here is just how to find the best church in your area. Because honestly, you know, even if the church in your area, let's say they're wrong on the timing of the rapture, they're wrong on the Jews, it could still be a good church for you to go to. It might be the best church in your area. And I'm a strong believer in going to the best church in your area. So keep in mind that certain things are deal breakers and certain things aren't. If the church is not King James only, that's a deal breaker. If the church doesn't do any soul winning at all, zilch, that's pretty bad. So, you know, it's either a deal breaker or, you know, maybe you can try to get a soul winning program started. If they'll let you start soul winning, then, you know, maybe you can make things work at that church if you can help invigorate soul winning. But wrong gospel, you know, teaching that salvation's by works or that you can lose your salvation, that's a deal breaker. So as far as I'm concerned, the essentials are the right salvation, the right Bible, doing some soul winning. That's really what you're looking for in your area. And in most places in the USA, you should be able to find that. Okay. But if you want a church that agrees with us on a lot of things, then you'll go to this list right here. And these are the ones that we know of, and I'm sure that there are more out there, and we'll update this accordingly. Now, if you live in a foreign country, obviously, yeah, it can be a jungle out there. It can be really hard to find a good church, and this locator's not going to help you much. But in that case, you know, do the best you can to find a church. And if you can't find a church, just try to find some way to band together with like-minded believers, at least just to get together for fellowship and maybe listen to some sermons and form a soul-winning club and just, you know, do what you can. Now, I don't recommend that in the United States, because in the United States there are plenty of independent Baptist churches that you could go to, even if they're not perfect. And I think you're better off going to a church, even if it's not perfect, than to just, you know, get together with your buddies. But if you're in a foreign country and there truly is no church, like, for example, Sweden, where there's literally like no Baptist church in the whole country, except just a couple that are super compromised and apostate and preaching a false gospel, then yeah, at that point, your option is just to, get together and band together with other believers, listen to stuff online, go soul winning together, whatever. But in the U.S., this page will be helpful for you. Anyway, I hope that this video will help people find out about some of the features of our church website and pay us a visit at faithfulwordbaptist.org. God bless you. Have a great day.